Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Scott's Selections here for Tuesday, January 21st. Before we get into today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. So we have actually two things to recap because of the fact that the play of the day before ended up getting delayed because of some rain in the Australian Open. We gave out Opelka 2 days ago, plus 102. He ended up closing at minus 128 on FanDuel, and he was up 2-0. Then there was a rain delay right when Fognini called out the trainer. Play got postponed for about, believe it was like 20 hours, give or take. And then as soon as play resumed, Opelka ended up losing the next 3 sets after being up 2-0. And he ended up picking up a loss there. So that was unfortunate, but we were able to pick up a play of the day winner yesterday with Isner and Monteiro over 10.5 in the games in the first half, which was available at plus 118 on FanDuel. I also said if you want to take the 11.5 at plus 168, you also could, and that ended up winning. They ended up playing 4 sets. All 4 sets went to tie breaks. Isner had 46 aces, and it was definitely a relatively sweat-free win there. So even though we're 1-1, you could argue that the loss we had was pretty unfortunate. We probably should have won that one, but we're still profitable right now in the Australian Open. Now for today's card, pretty limited. There's only one NBA game on between the Mavericks and the Clippers, and then you have a decent amount of college basketball games. And for today's play of the day, we're going to be talking about college basketball, and we're going to be looking at a matchup between the Butler Bulldogs and the Villanova Wildcats. And we like the Villanova Wildcats on FanDuel minus 3.5, which is available at minus 110. So play of the day, once again, will be on Villanova minus 3.5, which is available at minus 110 on FanDuel. Now, even though both of these teams have been really good this season, Villanova's is ranked number 9 in the country at 14-3, and Butler is currently ranked 13th at 15-3. Butler was actually 15-1. They were doing really well earlier in the season, but last week they were pretty underwhelming as they ended up losing each of their last 2 games. Butler, as the number 5 team in the country, ended up losing at home to Seton Hall. Seton Hall's a good team, so that's kind of understandable, even though, home field advantage means so much so far this season. But they ended up losing by 13 points at DePaul in their last game, which is a bit concerning. Meanwhile, Villanova's won each of their last 4 games, and they've looked really good lately. Earlier this season, they had some issues regarding their defense, but they've absolutely clamped down. And if you've looked at their numbers over the last 4 games that they've played, they've actually given up 67 points or less in each of their last 4 games. So defensively, Villanova's definitely looked fantastic. And Butler, even though their defense as a whole this season is giving up 57.1 points per game, which is fantastic, they've given up at least 78 points in each of their last 2 games. So their defense has struggled a bit lately, to say the least. Now, if you've looked at the recent matchups between these two teams, the home team has dominated, as the home team has covered the spread 4 of the last 5 meetings. I think this game will be close. But simply put, with the way that college basketball has gone this season, every team is in danger of potentially imploding. And I feel like backing recent form is definitely a good way to go about betting on teams. Plus, teams tend to play a lot better at home in general in college, and you have seen that definitely be the case so far this season in college basketball card, in which pretty much every top seed has lost whenever they've gotten to the top of the mountain. I think this game will be close. I think 3.5 is a bit too low of a spread, though. I think Villanova should be able to take care of business in front of the home crowd. Villanova is undefeated at home this season. They are 10-0 overall, and I think they should be able to put in another good performance in front of their home crowd. Now, the total in this game is pretty low, so I expect points to come at a premium. But at the same point, Villanova has been really solid shooting free throws this season, as they are shooting 77.9% from the foul line. So even if this game is close late, Villanova should be able to definitely ice the game. They should be able to take advantage of their free opportunities at the line. And I think those free throws and the high percentage in which pretty much the entire team hits them should definitely do enough to help propel Villanova to at least a 5-point win here. So for me, play of the day will be on Villanova minus 3.5, which is available at minus 110 on FanDuel, and that will be the play of the day. Now, talking about the rest of the card, looking at the NBA, there's one matchup here between Dallas and Los Angeles. And for this matchup, I have to lean to the over 232.5. We ended up winning on a play of the day a couple of days ago with Dallas and Portland over. Dallas is one of the best over teams in the entire NBA. They score a lot of points, don't play much defense, and Porzingis is expected to make his return to the lineup, so he should add another quality option on offense for Rick Carlisle to go to. Meanwhile, the Clippers, they've played some really good offense lately. I know Paul George is still out, but Paul George is still one of their best on-ball defenders. So I think that with him out of the lineup, you should still see Lou Williams and Kawhi step up. Also, Montrezl Harrell. Clippers have a ton of weapons. I think that's not a secret to anybody. But if you've looked at the Clippers over their last couple of games, the Clippers have scored at least 122 points in each of their last 3 games, and Dallas has scored at least 120 points in each of their last 3 games as well. I think both teams should probably get into the 120s. I think you could see this game reach the 240s. I think this total's a bit too low at 232.5. Lean to the over on that one. Now, looking at the rest of the betting card here, I'm going to lean to Kentucky minus the 11.5 against Georgia. I know Georgia looked really good against Kentucky for the first half of their matchup in Georgia a couple of weeks ago, but then Georgia got pretty much too excited at halftime, started, smacking their chest, showing off a bit, and then Kentucky absolutely embarrassed them in the second half. I think Georgia will struggle and erupt in the hostile environment. I think Kentucky figured out a blueprint in order to beat Georgia, and I think Kentucky should win this game handily. Lean to Kentucky on that one. Other than that, lean to the under 127 in the Northwestern and Maryland game. Maryland's played some really good defense lately, but their offense has struggled a bit, and Northwestern lacks offensive firepower. I think this game should be very close. I think both teams could finish in the 50s or 60s. Lean to the under in that one. Other than that, looking at the rest of the card here, I'm going to lean to the under 130.5 between Wisconsin and Nebraska. Wisconsin has been playing really good defense lately. Nebraska's offense has been okay, but at the same point, their offense has struggled a lot on the road this season as Nebraska's yet to win a road game up to this point. I think Wisconsin, who plays at the third slowest offensive tempo according to KenPom rankings, should be able to force this game into the half court. I think Nebraska should score 50 points, give or take 55. And this game will be low scoring, but at the end of the day, I think that this total should be in the 120s. Lean to the under on that one. Other than that, though, looking at the rest of the card, not really a big fan of anything else. In terms of hockey, I actually will be going to the Islander-Ranger game tonight with a friend of mine. So hopefully the Islanders are actually finally able to beat the Rangers this season. Should be a good game nonetheless, though. Hopefully the Islanders can pull out these 2 points, as they will definitely need it. In terms of what I think is going to happen in the game, I really don't know. I know the Rangers have had the Islanders' number, but the last matchup was really close, and you could argue that the Islanders probably should have won since they outshot the Rangers by double digits, I believe. But either or, that's what I'm going to be up to. Go Islanders. And other than that, though, play that I once again will be on Villanova minus 3.5, which is available on FanDuel at minus 110. That's going to be the installment of Scott's Selections here for Tuesday, January 21st. Good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.